Welcome back to the Coin Information HD channel. In today's deep dive numismatic feature, we are exploring one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in American history, the 1964 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. Even though billions were produced, this coin is surrounded by surprising secrets, unusual varieties, fascinating minting history, and some rare examples that have sold for astonishing amounts of money. If you own one of these pennies or are searching through your change hoping to find a valuable rarity, this video will guide you through everything you need to know about its origin, its hidden treasures, and its true market value in 2025. To understand the value and story of the 1964 penny, we need to go back to the state of the U.S. Mint during the early 1960s. The country was experiencing a widespread coin shortage. This shortage was driven by increased economic activity, rising silver prices, and hoarding behavior that caused millions of coins to stop circulating. In response, the U.S. Mint greatly ramped up production. The Denver Mint in particular was working at an intense pace to meet demand. As a result, in 1964 alone, the Denver Mint struck well over 3 billion Lincoln cents. This remains one of the highest single-year mintages in the history of the penny. This massive production meant that the 1964 penny was everywhere in circulation. But it also introduced striking inconsistencies and created opportunities for minting errors and varieties. Some of these rare error coins are worth hundreds, thousands, and even well into six figures today. The 1964 penny carries one of the most recognizable designs in U.S. coinage. On the obverse, we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally created by sculptor Victor David Brenner for the coin's introduction in 1909. The inscriptions include the motto "In God We Trust," the word "Liberty," and the date 1964. Just beneath the date, you will find the small letter D, indicating that the coin was minted in Denver. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design replaced the wheat ears that previously decorated the back of the penny from 1909 through 1958. Within the memorial, if you look very closely with magnification, you can actually see a tiny representation of the seated Lincoln statue, a detail understood and appreciated by collectors and engravers alike. The 1964 penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This copper alloy gives the coin its iconic reddish tone when newly minted and its warm brown appearance as it ages. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Because this penny is made of copper and not the later copper-plated zinc used from 1982 onward, it carries a melt value that has fluctuated with copper prices. Although it is illegal to melt US cents for metal value, this composition does give the coin an underlying floor in terms of collectability and preservation. During 1964, the Denver Mint was working under relentless pressure. The country demanded more coins, and the mint operated at full speed. Under such conditions, dies wore out faster, punches slipped, doubling occurred, and mint marks were manually applied by hand, a process that often led to repunched mint marks. This environment resulted in a variety of collectible errors and die varieties that elevate the value of certain 1964 pennies far above that of the average example. When examining your own 1964 pennies, it is helpful to remember that mass production often sacrifices precision. The very imperfections created in the rush to produce millions of coins per day are the same imperfections that make some examples incredibly valuable today. Because billions were minted, the vast majority of 1964 pennies are extremely common. Circulated examples are found in pocket change, coin jars, and inherited collections across the country. The average worn example carries only nominal value unless it has an unusual error or remains an exceptionally high grade. However, high-grade coins and rare errors are a completely different story. Some coins that look ordinary at first glance actually contain features that make them rare and desirable. These include repunched mint marks, doubled dies, die breaks, and exceptionally well-preserved red uncirculated coins. These special examples can range in value from several dollars to many thousands. Let's dive into the most important part for treasure hunters and collectors: The rare varieties and errors that make certain 1964D pennies worth substantial money. Point 1. Doubled Die Obverse, DDO. Some 1964D pennies show doubling on the letters of liberty, on the motto "In God We Trust," or on the numbers of the date. Depending on the strength and clarity of the doubling, these doubled die obverse coins can command very high prices. Point 2. Doubled die reverse, DDR. Less common but still sought after, doubling on the Lincoln Memorial or lettering such as 1 cent or United States of America can significantly increase a coin's value. Point 3. Repunched mintmark, RPM. Because mintmarks were manually punched into the die using a hand tool, some 1964D pennies show a clear secondary impression of the letter D. These repunched mintmarks range from subtle to dramatic. Strong examples can be very desirable to collectors. Point 4. Die cracks and cuts. Coins struck with damaged dies can show raised lines, cracks, or missing portions of the design. Collectors often seek out dramatic die breaks, especially those that affect the Lincoln bust or the memorial columns. Point 5. Off-center strikes and other planchet errors. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and misaligned dies are all errors that greatly enhance value, depending on severity and preservation. The more dramatic the visual impact, the more valuable the coin. Some rare 1964D errors have brought 4- and even 6-figure prices at auction due to their incredible rarity and visual appeal. To understand the true value of a 1964D penny, you must understand its grade and color. Grades range from good, fine, very fine, extremely finito mint state grades such as MS60 through MS67 and above. Color designations include brown, BN, red-brown, RB red, RD, a bright red, lustrous, uncirculated 1964D. Penny in mint state can be exponentially more valuable than a brown example in the same grade. Red specimens in MS66 or MS67 grades are scarce because copper darkens over time and loses its original mint glow. Now let's talk about what collectors can expect in terms of value in 2025. Circulated 1964D pennies. Most circulated examples are worth face value or a tiny premium. Their vast mintage makes them very common. Uncirculated brown or red-brown coins. Lightly uncirculated 1964D pennies typically bring a few dollars depending on eye appeal and grade. Red mint state examples. These are where the value begins to rise sharply. A red 1964D penny in MS63 or MS64 typically sells in the range of low to mid double digits. In MS65 and MS66 grades, prices rise further, often reaching several dozen dollars for attractive red examples. High grade MS67 red coins. This is where rarity becomes extreme. Truly bright red, perfectly preserved MS67 examples can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars. Such coins are valued for their luster, technical perfection, and scarcity among preserved 1964D cents. Rare varieties and dramatic errors. This is where the real treasure lies. Doubled dies, dramatic repunched mintmarks, and spectacular errors can range from hundreds to tens of thousands. The most dramatic and rare errors have even sold for 6-figure amounts. The combination of rarity, demand, and visual appeal drives these extraordinary results. Looking forward, collectors continue to show strong interest in high-quality copper Lincoln cents. As more coins circulate out of collections and copper coins continue aging, bright red examples grow increasingly scarce. Error collecting has also exploded in popularity, raising the value of unusual 1964D pennies. Even though the majority of these coins are common, the rare varieties and high-grade survivors remain highly sought after. As time passes, it becomes harder to find pristine red examples or dramatic mint errors. Scarcity naturally increases value. If you want to determine whether your 1964D penny is worth money, follow these steps. Examine the mintmark under magnification for signs of repunching. Check the lettering and numbers for doubling. Look carefully at the memorial for doubled columns or doubled inscriptions. Inspect the coin's surfaces for cracks, breaks, or unusual raised metal. Evaluate the color. Red coins are typically more valuable. Assess the overall grade. Absence of scratches, nicks, and marks dramatically increases value. If your coin appears unusual or pristine, consider having it professionally graded. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny may be common at first glance, but hidden within its massive population are coins of extraordinary value. From striking mint errors to high-grade red examples preserved for decades, these coins can range from being worth a single cent to life-changing amounts of money. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most iconic coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our detailed numismatic breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting.